Speaking words, is stuff happening?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Hey, stuff's happening. Okay, cool. So, tech issues are fun, but you know what else is fun? Sonic Lost World, also known as the sequel to Sonic Spinball. If you haven't seen this run before, that's because, like, 5 people have ever submitted a run. Okay, it's about double that, but anyways, it's hard to come across this one, but I promise it's very, very sick. If you don't believe me, give me like 6 stages into the run. It'll only take like maybe 10, 15 minute stops. If I can't convince you by then, well, I'm afraid I can't fix poor taste. Alright, we'll have a quick countdown and begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Alright, so following up Sonic Generations, Sonic Team decided to scrap everything and give us Sonic Lost World. This game is unlike pretty much anything else in the series. The boost is gone. Instead, we have a very, very powerful spin dash. This is what we'll be using for most of our movement. We can maintain the spin dash indefinitely by just holding down the spin dash button. It also functions as a drop dash. Yes, Lost World did it first, not Sonic Mania, not Sonic 3. Sonic Lost World. We can use it while parkouring on walls, because that's a mechanic. You have your jump, double jump, bounce attack, flying kick, a homing attack that locks onto multiple enemies, and the ability to run on pretty much any surface in the game. I'll be explaining that a bit more as it comes up in the run, but Sonic's moveset in this game is massive. The stuff you can do is super, super sick. Movement's basically Lost World's gimmick. Now, you may notice me grabbing these capsules here and getting some animals for it. The way this game is structured is we have 7 worlds and 4 acts in each world. To unlock Act 4, we need a certain number of animals. We'll need 1,900, somewhere like that, total to unlock the last stage. And we're going to be doing most of our farming in the first stage of the 3rd world, but before then we do have to pick up a few. A little bit of wall running there. Wall run functions differently between 2D and 3D. 2D is, I'd say, a lot more potent in general, but, you know, movement's like kind of similar between the two. Coming up on the second stage, this one's going to be 2D. Lost World does have both 3D and 2D stages. There are a few stages where you'll alternate between 3D sections and 2D sections, but generally you'll stay in the dimension you started in. The second and fourth worlds of each run have a boss fight at the end, so we'll just be doing a quick little playthrough here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, getting past those overknots is a little bit dicey. Ideally, you can just go underneath them, land with a drop dash and get through. Sometimes you'll land in the water, but sometimes they just decide to give you a bad time. Okay, so snails are actually the most terrifying enemy in Sonic Lost World. They're insanely strong. They didn't actually attack me there, which is a little bit embarrassing, but you know. Sometimes that's just how it goes. This is unfortunate. I gotta quit out real quick to get lives. This doesn't take long. If you quit out of a stage, you will maintain whatever life count you had. I'm going to take it slow on this attempt. And we do want quite a few lives for a bit of animal farming later on. Let's get some revenge, and there we go, we're through it. Little unfortunate, but not too much time lost. Very, very fast stage. But yeah, we'll want a fair number of lives. We can take deaths, like before the first, before we get to animal farming, but it's just best to keep our life count high. There are some tricks later on that have a decent chance of killing us, but nothing too bad. This is as boss fights in Lost World are pretty pathetic because of how the homing attack works. You can lock on to multiple enemies simultaneously, and if you destroy them in a chain with one homing attack, you'll get additional animals. Or you can lock onto the same enemy multiple times to do a super strong hit. This trivializes pretty much every single boss you'll encounter in the game. But I'm not complaining. They have some kind of annoying mechanics if you let them live, but they're really just speed bumps in the speedrun. You come across them, you take them down. It's fun and dandy. Windy 3, I'm going to use that homing tech gimmick I mentioned. So, I only defeated like 6 bandits there, but as you can see, I got 21 animals, because I locked onto them all. Won't be doing a lock on there, just kind of one drive through those. Now, the real gimmick of Lost World is these, like, kind of tubular cylindrical levels. As Sonic moves throughout, well, the stage, as you move, like, left and right, the floor is also going to shift with you, gravity's going to shift, and it's going to open up new parts of the level. It's a really creative mechanic. We're not going to see a ton of it throughout the run, or at least not, like, the full extent of it. If you go red ring hunting, you can see it in better use, but it does still come up here and then. It may look like I'm doing random movement, but I'm actually trying to position this tunnel in a specific way so that everything lines up properly. Do a quick damage boost. As you tilt things, you'll also manipulate, like, enemy placement, physics objects like those rolling boulders that you see. It's really, really neat. Not too many stages show it off like this, but still pretty cool. We want to jump over this slime here, because it does slow us down pretty significantly, and ideally we hit those dash pads because they'll line us up. Ah, dang it. Almost made it through. Not too bad, though. Get on this capsule, 30 animals for hitting a big one. Sonic's gonna just kind of fly off. And we're good. Alright, Wendy 4, this is where the skips begin. From here, the run gets interesting. I have to make a 4-frame jump here at the start, so I'm going to focus on it, but I'll explain it after we get it. So there's a kill plane above me, there's a kill plane below me. I'm trying to jump between those. Alright, the first time I jumped too early, second time I jumped too late. I like to play a little game, guess how many times you die on this trick. Thankfully it's right at the start. Alright, I'm going to quit out for lives real quick. That's a wing power-up right there. The category we're running is any % wingless. Basically, if you die 5 times or your lives hit 0, you will get the opportunity to grab a wing, which will take you to the next checkpoint. Different category, though. Pretty overpowered helper mechanic.
You have a quick second?
Yes I do.
Sadly, we don't have any donations, but I do want to remind everyone that the next incentive that we have open right now is only $30 away from being met. $40 away from being met. I know how to count. So, it's really close. And the Octopath Traveler voice language bid war is also pretty close. So if you want to snipe that, just a reminder, you can donate to both an incentive and a bid war in Tiltify. I also want to say Sonic Lost World is so cool.
It really is.
This game is sick.
Except for when you can't land on the thin platforms. So what's going on here is the entire level is always loaded. We're meant to go between 3D and 2D sections, but if we do this, we can just get to the 2D ones. Ideally, it's really hard to land on this. This is the run of all time. Largely because the geometry doesn't exactly match what you see. Or like the collision doesn't match, rather. I promise, even doing all this, likely still faster than playing the stage normally. This is pretty darn lengthy. But if we die a few more times, I may just have to take it the normal way. It's the walk of shame. I'll give this like 3 more attempts. Out of bounds. Jump now. And if I hit this checkpoint, I'm good. Hallelujah. So the thing about this is, I'm still technically in 3D. So if I'm not careful, I can just walk out of the playable area. I did get a checkpoint, so we're not super bad off. I will still respawn there, but I will respawn with 3D properties. Gonna homing tech these springs to line myself up better. There's also a slight chance that Zaz will despawn, like if you interact with him during that chase, so got a little lucky there. Okay, let's do this last hit. Not walk off the playable area, and there we go. Wendy 4. A little rough at first, but we got through it in the end. And overall, our life count isn't too low. Coming up, we have the second world, Desert Ruins. Desert Ruins 1 is probably my favorite stage in the run. This really shows what the parkour system is capable of. It has 3 3D sections and 2 2D ones. In the 3D ones, we're going to be doing some kind of precise movement with the spin dash. I'm going to try to get some extra animals here by killing the badniks. But in the 2D ones, we really get to let loose with the parkour system. While running on a wall, we can run up it, spin dash up it for extra height and speed, kick off of it, and then retain like a double jump, slide down it, and you'll see. Spin dash. Not bad. Back to 3D. Right as the music kicks in. This dark sand will slow down our spin dash, but, well, you can go along a seam, or you can do drop dashes to keep high speed and avoid the slowdown. So that's what we're going for here. The second Fire Orbonaut's kind of RNG, but we got a bit lucky there. Last 2D section, dropping some frames, but I think we'll be okay. Also, when you grab onto a wall, it refreshes your double jump, which lets us do this. And there we go. These cacti at the end are on a global cycle. Well, all the cacti in the stage are, because again, everything in the stage is loaded at once. So we can get a good cycle or we can get a bad cycle at the end here. We'll see which one we end up with. Should be pretty okay. Survey says, that's a little unfortunate. Just for the heck of it, I am going to take these extra animals. It's not strictly necessary, but I want to be on the safe side. If you're just a few animals short, you have to replay an entire stage to get more. It's a whole thing. It's really annoying. Best to just avoid it. Get those extra ones. Alright, that was DR1. Now DR2, another massive skip here. Also stage number 6. So this is not a running stage. You can think of it kind of like the Mach Speed sections in Sonic 06, except, you know, controls a lot better. But we're not going to be seeing a lot of it. At least, ideally. There's a little skip we can do here. Instead of getting sent into automation, I'm going to grab this edge, get out of bounds, land with a spin dash. Bad camera, but I think we'll be okay. And now I'm out of bounds and have to weave in between some kill planes. It may seem a bit odd, but I have some visual cues I can use. I'm going to line myself up with this tree down here. Right there. And now, in a second, to the right, there's going to be some dark wood, and once that's just about off screen, I can start holding in. I'm going to release for a second, because there is another kill plane down there. Just make sure that I dodge it. And in a bit, the gravity is going to pull me right back in. Now, I think I didn't. There's a set of like 3 1-ups a little bit before. Would have been kind of nice to get, but that's okay. Also, stage 2, so we've got a boss fight. I want to land on the ear here, because Zalmon's going to do a ground pound, and that's going to send you into the air, but if you're on this ear, for whatever reason, you don't get sent as high. You can only do that on hit 1, it seems. Tilts in the opposite direction. Zalmon's going to land. Do a nice fully charged homing attack. And we've got to go through that again, but, you know, pretty easy fight. Alright, for those unfamiliar, Eggman isn't exactly the villain here. They got some discount Koopalings called the Deadly Six, also known as Zeddy, to stand in for him. He's in the game. The whole plot's like Sonic and Eggman are working together. Tails gets jealous, gets turned into a robot, yada yada yada. Spoilers for a, I guess, 8-year-old game at this point. They're interesting, but you know, they're no Eggman. And that's DR2. Now, continuing the tradition of insane movement and insane skips, we've got DR3, where we are going to, once again, pretty much skip the entire stage. There are no breaks on the Lost World train. Just pick up this one up real quick. There are items that can spawn on the world map, and then you can pick them up and use them with this briefcase. We haven't really routed any into the run because they're kind of RNG with how they spawn, and it does take some time to pick them up, and it's awkward to activate them. But you get 1 life per world. It's nice to grab those. Don't worry about this. That should be good. Yep. DR3 doesn't exist. Nah, there's a whole stage there, but for whatever reason, with how the floor is aligned, if you do a spin dash jump, then precisely time a double jump, you can phase through the floor, jump through a second floor, dodge some kill planes, and just fall to the end. Yeah, that's the fast one. I've been practicing it a bit. DR4 is kind of an auto-scroller. This is Lost World, so even the auto-scrollers can be, played pretty darn quickly. There are a bunch of invisible triggers along the map that will speed up or slow down the tornado. So you can move in a certain way that keeps the tornado on fast ones, avoid the slow ones. I'm not sure of all their placements. A lot of Lost World knowledge has been lost. We're slowly rediscovering it. But we're going to take advantage of that for a trick later in the run. I'm going over this now because I gotta focus when I do the trick itself. This tornado does not extend infinitely up or down. So we could, land on that wall there. Well, we couldn't run up it, but, we could stand on that wall cling on it, and if we were below the tornado would just go past us. Now, the camera's locked to where the tornado is, so the camera would keep, progressing through the stage, but we'd be out of bounds. And if we jump back inbounds, we'll snap to where the camera is. Again, that might be a lot to take in. Basically, we can get behind the tornado, we can keep it going fast, and we're going to do that. There's some very fun stuff coming up here. Using the parkour system. Got a little bit before it begins. I will be silent during the trick because it does rely on some audio cues. I'm going to use a little exploit to keep Sonic running on a wall infinitely. A little hard time, but if we do it properly, we can just stay out of bounds. I got back in bounds a little earlier than I would like, but it looks like it's okay. The trick isn't done yet. I'm only going to give this one shot, but there is a part 2 to it. And hopefully, let's go. We got it. So what we did there...
Nice.
Thank you. That's pretty hard to do. We kept the tornado on some very fast triggers, and just got to skip right to the end. Now, we technically have a boss fight here, but it's a Lost World boss fight. It's more of a formality than anything. The hardest part of this fight is not getting crushed by these falling blocks. And if we just stand here, we're good. So to kind of show what was going on out of bounds, when you're on a wall in 2D, you can press the X button to cling onto it like this, and you'll fall down slower. And then you can... Hopefully that kills him. Please? Okay, cool. You'll fall down slower, then you can kick off of it, cancel your momentum with the double jump, grab back onto the wall. That's just doing that repeatedly. Have a good one.
Is now a good time for a donation?
Yeah, we can fit in a donation here.
Cool. We have a $20 donation from Cruel Dawn with no comment, but I think it was put towards the Resident Evil 2 remake category bid war, put towards Claire. So there's kind of a gap forming. If you really want Leon to win, if you feel strongly about Leon winning, definitely don't donate to that. We are still $40 away from our Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes incentive, though. So if you guys can donate to that, that'd be super cool. But we also just hit $1,200.
Hey, let's go.
So yeah, thank you everyone for donating.
Yeah, get your money in. Personally, I've known people in real life named Claire. I have yet to meet a Leon, so yeah, you know, video game, work of fiction. Let's get some Leon love in the bids. This is Tropical Coast 1. This is where we're going to be doing most of our animal farming. So right up here, by this checkpoint, there are a lot of animal capsules, something like 11 or 12, and remember, each one gives us 10, and if we die, we actually get to keep our animals. But these capsules will respawn. So I'm going to be in here until I have about 1,200 animals on the counter. It may seem like a lot, and it's a decent bit. It will take us some time. Probably like 6-ish minutes, I'd say. But it's not too bad. It's just a nice time to sit and chill. Sit and chill at this 2 a.m. run. I assume most of you are either European or need an actual sleep schedule. Good gosh. Or you like donating to charity. Get some donations in. And if we have any donations come in, just let me know. This is a very good time for them. On the Wii U version of this game, yeah, so I can just talk some Lost World. This game was first released on Wii U, and then like a year or two later, Sega of Europe ported it to PC. So the PC port is pretty much the same as the Wii U version. It loads a lot faster. Anything that works on one will work on the other, but the Wii U version got some extra DLC. It got a Yoshi's Island, or I guess just Yoshi in general, DLC, which has been ported to PC through the work of a modder, and it got a Legend of Zelda DLC. Now, the Zelda DLC is actually really, really good for speedrunning, because it lets you get a ludicrous amount of animals insanely quickly, and you can get them like right after the first stage. The animal requirements are different between Wii U and PC. Again, on PC, to unlock the final boss, it takes like 1,900 animals. On Wii U, it takes like 5,000. But, if I recall correctly, it's actually faster to get your animals on Wii U because of how many, like, just how many animals the Zelda DLC churns out. It's insane. If we had it on PC, we could be done with animal farming in like, I think less than 2 minutes. It'd be glorious. But alas, Nintendo being Nintendo, Zelda DLC did not make its way to PC. Has not been modded in yet, and even if it were, it's unlikely that it would be allowed for speedrunning. So we're stuck in the tropical resort. Well, Tropical Coast, but this game's basically Sonic Colors too. More or less.
I see your animal farming. Do you have a minute?
I do.
We don't have any donations. I just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
And also, everyone in chat should donate
Yes.
right now while we're animal farming, because it's like the perfect time for donations.
Alright, think about it like this. What do you need more in life? Life savings or donating to charity? There's probably like some sort of karma in donating to charity. You get to see more fast things done fast. You get to support good causes. What do life savings get you? They're savings. You got no immediate use for that money. But you could get instant gratification by donating to charity. I suggest you do it.
I'm not saying you should donate all your life savings to twitch.tv/SS4C, but
For legal reasons.
if you did, we would meet our goal. So, you know,
It'd be pretty cool. Meeting goals is good. That's what savings are for, right? Alright, only one more round of animal farming to go. And we'll keep some lives. Then we can get back to the stage. I'll just hop on these capsules. And we'll get back to it. So, that's TC1. This is by far the slowest part of the run. And you all made it through it. I'm proud of you. You're the real ones. Let's do some wall running. Get over here, wall run. And here we go. So, back to the action-packed adventure that is Sonic Lost World. Grab that checkpoint. Now, in a second, we're going to enter a segment where we're on clouds. Now, when Sonic goes on clouds normally, he gets a very reduced moveset. You can just do slow jumps, but through the use of glitches, we can spin dash. This is very tight, so sorry for not talking during this. And there we go. So what happened there, when we take the last spring, it doesn't immediately put us on the clouds. We have a very short opportunity where we can do a bounce attack and cancel the bounce into a spin dash. That's a recurring thing in Lost World. You can cancel pretty much anything into spin dash, including momentum. So, like, if you're on a downwards incline, you can just charge a spin dash and not fall. So, we did that to be spin dashing on the clouds. Then we grabbed the ledge, double jumped over, and from there, did a bounce stack, spin dash, repeat. All the way to the end. Tropical Coast 2 is... I think there's a stage attached, but we get to use the Rocket Wisp and just skip everything. It's, not too long. Now, the farther away you aim from these platforms, the more lenient this skip is. It's a bit counterintuitive, but for some reason that's how it works. Just aim a little far back, you can skip it every time. Run up this. Jump, double jump. And we'll be fighting the Fruit Ninja himself, Zik. This is certainly a boss fight. You shouldn't fail it. But Zik and I don't have a very good history, so we'll see if he's kind or not. Hey, we got a nice rate. He's going to try to test us, we're going to try to juice him. Lead him into the blender. Somehow he survives this. Oh yeah, if you're in these fruit streams and you hold the run button, for some reason you just go way faster. Fully charged homing attack. And GG. I believe. There we go. The Fruit Ninja was kind to us, and we get to progress to Tropical Coast 3. The thing about Lost World is, this game's, like, weirdly technical in almost every stage. Coming up here, we have an underwater rail grinding stage. The entire stage is played on rails. We do get a pretty nice soundtrack, but the gameplay may not look, you know, too thrilling, but there's actually a lot going on here. If you jump, you'll get control of Sonic. So if you... well, more control over him. So if you jump and hold forward, you'll go very, very fast. Dash pads speed us up even more, though. So we want to hold on to that momentum as long as we can. And there's also 3D and 2D. Oh gosh, I actually got it. That's pretty tight to do. So right now, Sonic's in a 3D plane, despite, you know, this being a 2D section, which allows him to go much, much faster. You might be able to tell from here. Just seeing, like, the comparison between previous and right there. That is pretty hard to do. You can actually weave in and out of the Z-axis, which we'll be making use of in a later stage. But just getting that trick speeds you up way, way more. You can actually hold forward while jumping while in 3D and absolutely fly across the stage, but that is pretty risky because you can also just, you know, take Sonic off the map. That's unfortunate. There's a trick you can do there, if you can just, like, go between the fan blades, where you do a jump, and for whatever reason, it sends you flying into the air, and you can jump over all of those doors that I just had to unlock. But if you run into the fan blades, it is an insta-kill. Wasn't worth risking. I'll just take it nice and slow. Jump up there. And jam out to the music for a bit. Really does. Oh boy. Gotta pay attention to the game sometimes. You can jump over a few of those doors, but it's also easy to forget which ones you can. Green Rails speed us up, and Lost World's pretty generous about keeping you, like, letting you snap onto rails. So we can do some skips there. You may see me double jumping. If you do a double jump, the frame after you release jump while on rails, or I think in general, actually. For whatever reason, Sonic goes flying into the air. I did it once or twice throughout this. Forgot to point it out, though. It's not super useful, but it can let you maintain your speed a bit longer in some areas. Tropical Coast 4. This is a stage. So the way this works, at the very beginning, we're going to grab a Rocket Wisp, and we're going to try to get in a very specific position to let us launch straight to the end of this section. This is hard. There are a few balloons. I need to take a specific one. I can't tell which is which. That's a decent lineup. Okay, I'm going to try to launch between a few more of these balloons. It'll put us in a cannon. Aim about there. And one more. Got to dodge a kill plane. There we go. Let's go. So there's an entire section there, and we just kind of skipped it all through the power of Rocket. The Wisps don't come up too much in this run, but when they do, they're pretty darn useful, honestly. And now we're on to the stage proper, which is a bunch of eye-straining 2D movement. If you get motion sick, I'm sorry. This would usually knock his vision, I'm afraid. Jump over there. Land, and keep it going.
I haven't seen this at all yet, but apparently there's just been like this obligatory chat message going around talking about how this is just SSC for C8. And yeah, this is like our like 7th Sonic run or something. So yeah.
Yeah, Sonic.
I think I have to point that out.
Sonic stuff for charity. It's my favorite event. Now, Sonic runs are sick. Hopefully. Hopefully this is keeping you all entertained. Good cause, good runs, lovely event. Those trees are a little annoying. You can kind of bounce off of those coconuts and get through things a bit faster. I want that checkpoint, but it doesn't always cooperate. Closing in on the end of the section. Just a little bit more to do. We want to skip those dash pads so that we can stay in Spinball. Because again, Spin Dash is very broken. Drop Dash coming out strong here. And nearly at the end. Got some crabs to go through. And then we'll have our rematch with Zik. This time he's, significantly tougher, unfortunately. Or significantly more likely to just, ruin your day. Shouldn't be too bad, all in all. He still goes down in like 2 hits. But still. So he surrounds himself with fruit, and if you don't, like, immediately hit him, he's going to gain a ludicrous number of iframes, and you just will not get a chance to hit him again. Good 2 hits. One more. If I see a balloon, I'm taking it, because it will quickly get me to...
trying to get past all the death traps and enemies and stuff. I think he kind of likes me. I like a man who shows initiative. Mostly because I don't have any initiative. But you're never gonna get close to me, blue boy.
Yeah, everyone, sorry about the tech issues. Hopefully we can get it resolved very, very soon.
I'm gonna need a mani, a pedi, and an avocado facial scrub after this horrible day. Aw, you're adorable.
Yes, I can continue speaking words about this awful, awful boss fight. Hey, it's working, let's go. Awful boss fight, I mean, level's so good, we really just had to take a while, cut the commentary, and listen to that glorious soundtrack. Anyways, yeah, snowball level, it's a gimmick. This fight, there's no way to take damage. Instead, it tries to time you out. If I'm not fast enough, these snowmen will reset. Like that. And if I hit the bombs, they also reset. You kind of have an opportunity to get it at the very beginning, but if that goes wrong, then it takes a while to reposition. Last cycle here. Oh boy. Dodge and weave, one last snowman. And Xena's gonna take off like a track star, and there we go.
Gotta go. Call me.
Not a bad Frozen 2, all things considered. Yeah, that is, I think, the only time the snowball shows up in the entire game. Eh, they were trying something.
Have you ever considered running the full game, but like with Sonic as the snowball? Not like you get your whole moveset, but you just are the snowball.
I would love that. Aurora modding can probably support that. I should definitely look into that. Sonic Snowball? Watch it become the only allowed mod on the entire board. Yeah, though, we've got some gambling here. Because when you're in a snowy resort, you know, what you gotta do is gamble. We need a certain amount of... You need a certain amount of points to unlock the center. And then you've got to actually get in the center. That was, unfortunately, not enough. You can rock the table, you can fling Sonic up with these, and if you fall down the middle, you can even take a death. Okay, the middle is unlocked. I now need to get Sonic inside of it, which is much easier said than done. This is the only real point of RNG in the entire run. Yeah, we got through it. There is technically a second pinball table in this run, but it's not, or in this stage, but it's not required to progress, so yeah, we are not going to take it, and we are not going to look back. Neat little casino level. Pinball, not the greatest. Nearly at the end, though. It's a very short stage. If we go in those little holes, then we'll be stuck in an animation where we cash out all our chips. The chips are how you get the red rings for the stage, if I recall correctly. As a true Lost World aficionado, I have never played this game casually. I have not 100%ed this game. It took me around 60 hours to beat it because I kept trying to do fancy speedrun stuff. You know, like in a true fan of game. Alright, Frozen 4 is gonna alternate between 3D and 2D again, but it's mostly just ice physics this time around. There's some cool movement that you can do. Like that. Just casually living. One thing that's pretty nice about Lost World is how much control it gives you over Sonic. For example, jump is bound to both A and B, but so if you're locked on to a target, but you don't actually want a homing attack, you can just use B instead. If you're running along the ice, Lost World has a dedicated run button, so if you're running along the ice, you'll be picking up speed, and when you jump, your momentum and direction will be locked as you go into this pirouette, but you can just drop RT at any point, like the run button, and Sonic will do a regular jump instead. There's no delay on it, no lag, you can literally just go from this to this. Drop of that. It's super, super nice. So, this might be one of the... I want to say it might be one of the best control schemes in a Sonic game, but that is definitely going to make some people mad. You have a lot of freedom when what you do is what I'm saying, though. Do a bounce stack, cancel it into a spin dash to break through the ice. If you spin dash on ice, unfortunately, you will go into a slow animation like that. Just need to show that off. Put out these cycles, and we're good to go. A little bit of wall running here, kick off, and make our way across. It's not too bad of a stage. There's some neat movement. There's some neat ice stuff that you can do, actually. If you time your jumps very, very well, as in almost frame perfect, though there is also a bit of a buffer system, you can keep high amounts of momentum from like dash pads going with your pirouette. If you mess it up, though, it does lose a fair bit of time, so that's why I'm not going for it. We're just trying to keep our pirouettes nice and short here. Show off a little bit of fancy movement, but don't get too crazy with it. I mentioned this before, but you can wall run infinitely. All you need to do is kick off a wall, and then quickly double jump back on. And using that, we can scale up this entire thing very, very easily. That does also work in 3D, but because of how, you know, the directions are, it's a little bit different. You get a lot more speed when doing it. We'll see it in an upcoming stage. Actually, we'll see it in the next stage. If things cooperate. I want to do a jump here, so that I can take the spring and go straight to the boss. Now, unlike the other bosses in this game, Xena we want to approach a bit differently. We don't want to do an immediate full charge homing attack because she'll get a lot of iframes. We're going to go for a weak hit, into a weak hit, weak hit, weak hit. Now we want to do a charge full hit right there, and there we go. Got the quick kill. If you immediately do a full charge, then she's going to pick herself up and go into this very lengthy animation where she like summons, I think, mechanical snowballs and laser beams to control them, and it's cool, but she has a lot of invincibility during it. So if you do that attack sequence, you can bypass that. Moving on to World 5 out of 7, Silent Forest. This is probably the hardest world in the run, but it may not look like it at first. This stage starts out pretty tame, We've got some rail grinding here, we're going to have a little bit of combat, and we're going to show what momentum canceling can do with a pretty neat skip in just a second. First though, we've got to weed out any arachnophobics by defeating some lovely mechanical spiders. Enemies in Lost World can't always just be homing attacked. For these, we need to do a flying kick first, which is when locked on and put the bounce attack. And then that knocks them to the ground where we can homing attack them. If you just homing attack immediately, then they're going to go into some funky like spin animation and knock you down. And you just feel really bad about yourself because, you know, you got hit by spiders. You got hit by the funny spiders. Speaking of the funny, let's use a spin dash to climb a tree. This is very tight. Also, the camera changes each time you do it, which makes things even weirder, but this looks good. Ah, not quite. This fight sequence is very slow because the spiders are automatically spinning, so you can't just attack them. So it is decently fast to go for this. Sometimes the tree won't cooperate like this, but we can overcome agriculture. Okay, need to move very carefully, line Sonic's ear up with a corner there. Take off, escape the gravitational pull of the planet, and looks like we're good. Sometimes you can get that to take you much, much farther, but that's okay. Even just a little bit will skip the planet. Gonna go for some infinite wall run here in 3D. Ah, didn't quite keep it up. Controller's a little funky and the inputs are tight. But got to show it off a little bit. You kind of kick off of the wall, then you can like latch back on. Not a bad silent one. Tree skip indeed. Silent Forest 2, one of the only places I have ever seen Lost World crash. Again, crashes are very, very rare in this game. It's probably not going to happen, but there's a chance. Anyways, this stage is very technical. This beginning section, like about the first half of it, is just finding the right way to move to keep your drop dash going. It's a really good showcase of what you can do with the drop dash once you know how it works. And once you learn the layouts of Lost World. Some bounce stack cancels here. Ah, if you spin dash just right, you can make it past these little musical tree notes. That's okay. Do a drop dash here, which lets me cleanly go underneath these. And we're gonna go for something fancy here, and we got it. Alright, closing in on the halfway point. So, up here, we've got a searchlight segment. If this owl in the background catches us, it's an insta-kill. But we have a secret. If we are crouching or rolling, spin dash doesn't count, then the owl actually can't detect us. If we're moving fast enough, then we won't need to make use of that. Okay, Sonic. But we were not, so I'm just going to land here and roll, wait it out, and we're good. That's probably not intentional, but it works, so you'll love to see it. And we have a checkpoint now, so the worst is over. And here comes the boss. Welcome to Depressi the Zeddy. He doesn't actually fight you directly. You jump up here, you flying kick these, he drops to the ground, and then you just kind of do a little drive-by. And he's gone. Now we want to wait a specific amount of time here. We want him to actually fire off a third one here. So that we can kick these just the right order. Here we go. And that will set me up properly to do a quick kill with these next two. Hit there, don't have to wait it out. Run over here. And he drops down. Spin dash on through. And that's the fight. Yeah, Hot Topic Kid isn't quite as cool as Hot Topic the Hedgehog. But, you know, at least it's got some nice music. Silent Forest 3. So this is a mix of Windy Hill 3, that little tube level, and ice. Ice, baby. Not much to say about it. It's a little intimidating to learn, but it's actually pretty fast and consistent once you get it down. Can't use our spin dash, of course, but ice skating is, thankfully, pretty darn fast. So as long as we use our options correctly, we'll get through this no trouble. Now, each of these, you may have seen like 3 or 4 different kinds of these little rolling balls before. Each of them are affected differently by stage tilts. So for these, we want to get them to fall, like start chasing after us, and then we want to tilt in the opposite direction, and that'll let us get past them. For some, you can just keep rotating the stage, yada yada yada, don't get caught in the green stuff. It varies. These are probably the nicest to get around once you know how it works, though. I bet we can make this. It is a little bit speedy to jump over these dash pads, or at least it doesn't put you into any sort of lockout, which means we have a better chance of getting past the rotating orbs. You prefer Cold Steel the Hedgehog? Let's go. Gonna try to jump in between the spiders. There we go. I wanted to one-up. That's okay. We'll hit that dash pad. And there is a cool little thing you can do here. I want all 3 of these to turn around. And now, if I jump properly... Oh! Press the wrong button. That's okay, we have a checkpoint right here. Don't spin dash on the ice. If you get them all to rotate onto the ceiling, then jump just right, you can actually... you can actually just run underneath them. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Ice is generally okay in Lost World, but as you can see, it is not perfect. Occasionally, it will give you a bad time. It will wish for your demise, and if that happens, there's not much you can do. Ah, didn't get it. That's okay. We'll just take the chickens out, nice and normal. And welcome to, I think, the only appearance of the Laser Wisp. We line him up here, and just blast through the tunnel. Nice and quick, nice and easy. And that's pretty much the end of the stage. We're going to do some scary looking movement here as we weave in between the spiders, but as long as we align ourselves with these numbered rings, we'll be good to go. And that's the end of the stage. Release the run button to get full control over jump. And bada bing, bada boom. Alright, Silent Forest 4. This is by far the hardest stage in the run. At least the hardest to learn. Lost World is generally good about not having cycles or anything. I mean, cycles do exist, but they don't really impede your progress. This stage has cycles, it has circular platforms, which really do not play well with spin dash. It has insta-kill mechanics on cycles. This stage is hard. But if all goes well, we'll be good. Those Moai heads just kill us if they make contact. Gotta wait that out. Lost World also likes its hidden springs, so we've got that. Alright, if you go underneath that guy, you do actually get sent straight to the end of the section, but if you miss it, there is just a quick little backup with some parkour, and not too shabby. This is also an incredibly long stage. It's entirely in 2D, and you'll have a substantial bit of gameplay, and then that little, like, connecting section. The gimmick here is we're supposed to use drill to hit these little 3 purple glowing things, but we can actually just skip the first 2 with some nice movement. We do have to hit them from here on out, though. Oh yeah, while you're in drill, you can't actually die by running out of rings. The only way you die is if you run out of time on your drill. So, getting hit just serves as a little bit of time loss, a little bit of an annoyance, tries to stall you. Doesn't actually run too much of a risk, though.
Do you have a moment?
Yes, I do.
We have a $1 donation from Zopney, who just says, "Good morning, the movie-based game." If you haven't been listening to all the donations, Zopney's been donating, you know, little increments of $1. He's one of our tech volunteers. So he's been around. So maybe later in the night you've seen him in chat. Yeah, he's been super great to us. So if you see him, ping him in the chat and just be like, yo, thank you. You're awesome. You're epic. You're very cool.
Give him some love. Don't worry about that little thing you may or may not have noticed back there. That's called the grabber glitch. For whatever reason, if you break free of those grabbers, there's a very slight window where you can do a bounce stack, and the game will freak out. Like, it won't really know where you are between the foreground and background, and you can just phase through the floor. It's kind of inconsistent. I'm really glad we got it. Second try. It was very fast. Saves a lot of time if you get it like that. Alright, we've got to fight Zor again, but in true Zor fashion, he is a pushover and will die in one hit, ideally. Yep. The only way you die in this fight is if he ricochets into the block you're about to land on. Not really going to happen otherwise. He's not much of a he's not much of a boss. He's just kind of sad. I think we pity Zor. I think. And then we quickly forget about him as we move on to Sky Road. Sky Road does have some pretty technical movement, especially in the second stage. This first one's not too bad, though. It's got two pretty nice skips that I'm going to go for. First one is right up here. Gotta focus. I'm aiming for this planet here. And I think, let's go! First try. So the way that works, if you take that normally, you would just go into a freefall section, then land on a platform with a bunch of giant purple caterpillars, and they're very, very slow to kill, and then you would get sent to this auto-running. Now, when you do a drop dash, your momentum actually gets locked for a bit, so you can bypass things like freefalling. So what we did was drop dash in a very particular way that lets us bypass the pull of the planet, and then we managed to jump just right and get close enough to the second planet to get pulled in. We've got another skip coming up here, provided, repeated wall running wants to work, and good enough. I'm going to do a drop dash here, jump, double jump, activate Eagle, also the only appearance of this Wisp, and make it to this platform right here, skipping a very lengthy climb up a wooden platform. These sheep are that other enemy in Lost World. For both new and experienced runners alike, sheep and snails. Those will ruin your day. The sheep act as like springs. If you run into them, they send you off in like a random direction, and it's really bad because when you're charging up a spin dash, you turn very slowly, so it takes forever to reposition yourself. The snails are just very, very strong. They can combo you insanely quickly and just kill you if you run into one. And this guy here is our friend. He sends us some bombs, we return the favor, and we get to progress. Spring should spawn here, and good to go. We'll have one more auto-running section where we find out why the bees are vanishing, but the bees also give us a lot of animals, so it's worthwhile. Well, I've never seen that one before. Guess there's a first time for everything. Apparently you can run into the caterpillars and it will act like you've used a bounce. That's the animation Sonic was in, at least. That's pretty funny. But
I've also never seen that before, if that makes you feel better.
It's rare, man. On the plus side, we do get to spend more time with our little friend, Turtle Naka. There we go. Okay. Also, we get even more bees. We get to commit even more bee genocide. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it does give us a little extra leeway. Wherever you see bushes, there be bees. Almost at the end of the stage.
You're making it so hard for me to not talk about the bee movie right now.
You know, according to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a drop dash should be able to make a blue hedgehog fly. Yet Lost World does not care. It flies anyways. Turtle time, though. Exactly. Turtles turn up, shooting bombs on clouds. Alright, this stage is actually really hard, so I'm gonna have to focus for it. It's a lot of precise drop dash movement. I need to drop dash as soon as I land. Sometimes before I can even see the platform. It's very short, it's very technical, it's very cool. Hardest part's done. Get over here. Might get sniped by a laser. That's okay. I've also never had that platform destroyed before. That's kind of interesting. You learn something new about Lost World every time you run it. It's the game that keeps on giving. Well, one of. Anyways, that's level. We've got Zavik here, the Bowser wannabe, I guess. I don't know, for some reason he's just incredibly angry, but very easy to defeat. You're supposed to travel along the back of this dragon, but you can actually just go over to the front, triple bounce, land on top, hit Zavik. You don't even have to charge a homing attack to take care of him. He just goes down in 2 hits. 1, 2, 3, and that's the fight.
Yeah, I love watching this level. Little known fact, I think like no one knows about this fact other than us. In the tech check, actually, because I had to tech check Gordon before the marathon, it was supposed to be like a 5-minute thing, and then it lasted like half an hour because we were just like talking for a while. We were just being buds, and I was watching him practice that level, and it was so cool. I just love watching it.
Unfortunately, this level is not the same. This is a 3-minute auto-scroller. If you have donations or you want to just, like, audition for an audiobook reading, please feel free.
Yeah, there isn't too much to plug that I haven't already plugged. So again, Metal Gear Solid happening in about 5 hours. There is an incentive for that is only $40 away. Is very snipeable right now. And for the polls, Octopath is still $3 apart. Japanese is still winning with $24. English is in second place with $21 for the language bid war. And Resident Evil 2 player is still in the lead with $45. But Leon has $1, so
let's go,
hey!
Leon! Donate your life savings to get Leon in.
I hope so. What the heck? Something I didn't talk about yet, though. Our next bonus game is going to be Bugsnax any percent, which I hope we can meet. Bugsnax any percent is so cool. It's gonna happen right after Bugsnax 100%. And oh, it is so worth it. The run is so cool. We are currently $299 away from that, but that is cumulative. So as long as you donate, we are going to be contributing to that goal.
Please get Bugsnax in.
Please.
It's kind of bug, it's kind of snack, it's kind of horror game. It's worth it.
You gotta catch them in your trap.
Exactly. Alright, so the worst part about this stage, if you die, you lose a fair bit of time. You can't speed it up. And there's also a boss fight at the end. For some reason. I think we're about to close in on that here. Should be a giant pufferfish. There we go. Well, you can technically do a quick kill, but I think we've missed it. So, let's see how this goes. Please tell me it dies. Okay, good. It should... Please don't hit me. Lost World has this thing where sometimes, even though you've, like, phased a boss or defeated it, you can take damage. Usually you don't get to that point with the pufferfish, but, I wasn't sure. Are you allowed to bribe me? How am I getting bribed? You can bribe anyone here. You could bribe, or you could donate to charity. you could get Leon at more than $1 contributed.
The only bribes that work here are charity donations, but yes, those are bribes.
Okay, good. Close enough. I wasn't sure how deep the corruption ran. There's no corruption at this marathon, just making sure. Alright, so Sky Road 4. It's a stage. We get the return of these little ghosts from SA2. Little return. And then we have these sand sliding sections. Holding forward is not the move here, it makes Sonic so much harder to control. But he moves pretty fast on his own anyways, so not too bad. We want to weave in between these, but even if we take damage, it's not usually too big of a deal. Also, you will notice I have a Rhythm Wisp. This Wisp does actually have one use. This is the only time you will see the Rhythm Wisp used, and it's incredible. It's so good. It's so useful. You'll never see it again. You'll probably never see it in casual play because it's awful. But you can break the game pretty hard with it. The stage tries to screen wrap. However, for whatever reason, you can just exploit that by flying out of bounds with Rhythm. Now, I'm hoping I'm far enough out of bounds. I don't think I am. Ah, that's unfortunate. If you do it properly, you'll fall literally all the way to the end. It's incredible. It saves like 6 seconds to do. It's pretty easy, though sometimes it can go wrong. We'd fall all the way to about here. But yeah, that's the Rhythm Wisp. Sometimes it comes in clutch. Sometimes you just get to see a little bit of the skip. These cacti are kind of annoying. But they just sort of slow you down. They don't run too much of risk. Get over here. And we'll want to be on this side. I see some Capus in the chat. You love to see it. Now right here is the only part where you can die. If you get hit by this last set of little guys, it's a guaranteed kill. Because they'll true combo into those big guys. That might actually be the only instance of a kill setup in Lost World. The game's usually pretty fair. But that one's a little annoying. Just gonna damage booster way past the booze. Fall land. If you do a bounce stack on these, Sonic will get that little after trail and go a fair bit higher. We don't have to stick to these springs too often. These little moving platforms. But it's kind of neat. Gonna try to be fancy here, and fanciness has paid off. Let's go. Scale the wall with some wall running. Avoid the Rhythm Wisp because we never want to see it again after it has failed us. And move along to the final... well, not the final boss, but move along to Zavik. Last boss of this world. Closing in on the end game now. So Zavik's a non-traditional fight. You can't kill him with damage. You gotta knock him out of the ring, kind of sumo style. We want to get behind him here, so that it goes to the edge of the screen. We'll hit him a few times, screen will scroll, yada yada yada. Eventually he'll run out of screen and then he'll die. Charge that up, hit him, pounds the platform, does his little Naruto run, and repeat for a few more hits. This is a kind of funny fight casually, because a lot of people don't get how it works. Which, you know, it's fair, it's never really explained to you. But for this last hit here... no, I'm not going to be fancy. You can get behind him and speed things up a little. Not worth it, though. For this last hit here, you need to knock him all the way to the edge. So you gotta get him here, and then you have to fully charge your homing attack like this. If you do it early, then he's just gonna block your hit and, retaliate with a hit of his own. You can charge the homing attack an abnormally long amount of time against him, which is, I think, why people usually run into issues with it. But once you know what to do, it's not too bad. Okay, last world here, Lava Mountain. This is not traditional. Stage 1's a boss rush. We're going to fight Zaz, Zalmom, and Zik. And then Stage 2 won't have a boss attached. Stage 3 will be a mix of stages and boss rushing. And then Stage 4 is the final boss. The Zeti do have new attacks now, but they kind of still die in the same way. Also, I'm absolutely taking that bribe. Absolutely. I mean, I would never intentionally... I'd never intentionally lose time when speed running. Except for charity.
Except for charity, yeah. It's a bribe. It's a bribe for a lead.
Yes. Okay, where's Zalmom? So you want to lure him into the lava when he goes underground. Kind of burn himself like that. I want rings. I don't know why they did Zalmom so dirty in the writing, but if you listen to his lines, it's just sad. He's just trying his best. The writer said no chill. Speaking of no chill, Zik. You shouldn't lose to this fight. But if he does hit you, you lose a minute, and you just have to... You have to live with yourself knowing that you lost to the Fruit Ninja. It's not a good feeling, let me tell you. Zalmom is the second best. Who's the best? Alright, Love Mountain 2. Another rail grinding stage, as it can never be the best. Another rail grinding stage. This one's a bit more technical. We have two different 3D and 2Ds that we can do. The first one starts here. I do that jump to avoid a trigger, and now I'm going to get the 3D. Okay, I'm now 3D. And now, I have to abuse the fact that I'm in the Z-axis to weave around these exploding minecarts, because they are insta-kills. And of course I move much faster by being in 3D. You can also run into the minecart sometimes, and it's a little unfortunate. You know, you go back here. But, on the plus side, you get more sea-bottom segue. It's a wonderful, wonderful time. I know. What they did with it in the Sonic Symphony?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I also do hate to ask... Actually, I don't hate to ask. This is a very good question. You were talking earlier about how you were in 3D. Does that mean you're a VTuber now?
Yes. I will be launching the I'll be launching the Exploding Minecart VTuber rig shortly on twitch.tv/GordinRamsay.
Follow the runner, by the way.
Or don't. You have free will. But it would be appreciated. Yeah, Lava Mountain is a very, very technical stage. Very, very technical. Weave in and out to dodge that chicken, and we're back to it. So I probably won't be going for the second 3D and 2D. The thing about the second one is, if you get it, you do hit a checkpoint, so you are locked into the 3D space. You don't get the option of saying, hey, I can't actually do this execution, and I need to stick to 2D. No, you're stuck in 3D. I have practiced it, I am capable of doing it, but it is very tricky, so considering how the first bit went, I don't really want to risk it. Would probably be safe, but yeah. As you'll see, the second one is a lot harder. Those insta-kill minecarts are ramped up to 11. You have to do a bunch of really quick dodges in and out of the 3D plane to avoid them, and then you have to land on some incredibly small rails that also have insta-kill minecarts on them. It is hard enough to do in 2D. Doing it in 3D is, doable, but tricky. So, we'll stick to 2D. It's not too bad. Ooh, dropping frames. Like I mentioned before, you do have control over Sonic's movement when jumping in the air, so I can hold back to slow down, or I can hold forward to speed up. And sometimes the game just says, you know what? Nah, you don't get to jump off of rails today, kid. Yeah, that's fine.
You're actually just warming up for the final boss.
I really am. See, I've got to practice my throwing in time for intentionally throwing for charity. We'll take this normally. It's nice and cinematic. So that little section right there, landing on those small rail bits, imagine landing on those, except you're moving lightning fast, and there are also all these exploding minecarts up here. If you have 3D, you're fast enough to outpace the cycle, but in 2D you do have to wait a bit. So yeah, right here. And then land on these. And then make it here. Doable in 3D, very fast, very cool. Pretty risky. Stage isn't over yet. The doors are collapsing, we've got to dodge them, we've got to weave around these insta-kill minecarts. The stage really said, let's make everything kill you. In one hit, too. Ah, it's so cool, though. Gotta love Lost World.
I honestly can't even be too mad at the stage, just because they gave us this absolute banger.
It really is amazing. Good music does a lot for an otherwise annoying stage. It's just so relaxing to play. Despite the stress. Nice oxymoron there. Alright, last real stage of the run. This is another boss rush, but it's comprised a little differently. We're going to have a 3D section, followed by a 2D section, followed by a boss. And we're going to do that for Xena, Zor, and Zavik. I wanted a little skip there. Those little yellow bits technically count on as ramps, so if you land there with a drop dash, you'll go flying to the end, and make it straight to the transition. This lava following us up is an insta-kill. The little pits of lava are just regular hits. It's very easy to outpace the lava at the bottom, though it does have a little bit of rubber banding. Just some nice use of the bounce stack. The third use of bounce does make you go higher than normal, which is nice. And we can get ahead of the boss using it. Forbidden Jello.
Do you have a second for a donation?
Yeah.
We have a $50 donation from Audrey Azura that says, let's get these Octopath Japanese voices. And
Let's go.
for the status of that bid war, it is currently $74 to $21. So you have a lot of work if you want to get the English voices. I do like a good fight, but you have to do a lot of work.
Yeah, those life savings might actually come in handy right about now.
Yeah, but Claire and Leon are the same. And for the Metal Gear Solid incentive, we are still... Actually, we are at $399. So,
Ooh,
good job, guys.
progress. We actually got a weird bug there that I've never seen before. There's meant to be a spike ball on the, first little set that you have to outrun, but it didn't spawn for some reason. Kinda odd. Anyways, this is the use of hover. It lets us just cheese vertical sections so hard. It's amazing. Hover does have some new abilities since, colors... Oh gosh, alignment's hard. You can press LT to do a dash, which will consume a fair bit of the wisp power, but propel you along nice and fast. And then you get to Zor. So Zor's not actually going to fight you, he's going to land on these platforms and do his little edgy dance. We want to stand on the sides here, because if he lands on the platform you're on, he can actually deal damage to you. But if you're on the side, you avoid it. Okay, in practice, my controller hated me for this part, so... we'll see if it goes better. The way you do this is just infinitely wall running along the side, and we want to keep this hover wisp. If we go too high, our wall run will be cancelled. And we made it nice and easy. No complications there whatsoever. Almost at the end here. Just go through a little bit of kind of automation, kind of movement. And then one last 2D section, which we will absolutely cheese with hover. So starting out, you've got a wall, which means infinite wall running, which means we get to cheese it pretty hard. And then for the second one, they say, what if we removed that outer wall from the player and replaced it with lava? To which we say, we have the hover wisp. The section is genuinely tricky if you don't have hover, but if you do, you just get to do that. Up here we've got Zavik. I want to charge a spin dash here. He can go either left or right. Okay, he went left, so I can just run behind him. Full charge, hit, and phase 1 is down. And this is the reason why people compare Zavik to Bowser. His full strength. He's supposed to chase you upwards as you drop these blocks on his head, but there are actually enough here to just finish the fight now. It can be a little finicky, but we should be okay. Imagine dying to Zavik. Shoutouts to Don. Alright, that's the fight. And now for the final boss. Donations say 3 positive things about Master Zik. Well, Master Zik is really the Fruit Ninja. He took his inspiration from him. Pretty nice game. He's got good taste. He's blue like a blueberry. Blueberries are pretty decent. Also, same, he's blue. Sonic's also blue. You've got some nice blue going around. Good color scheme, good color scheme. And he's vaguely reminiscent of Master Shifu. Also, there's the death. Vaguely reminiscent of Master Shifu. Master Shifu's kind of cool. There are the 3 positive things about Zik. And now for the Nega Wisp armor. Phase 2. More or less. This fight's pretty easy. Sonic's auto running. You've got an absolute banger in the background. And you just kind of... These attacks aren't hard to avoid. You just kind of dodge them, lock on, and here we go.
These attacks aren't hard to avoid, but maybe they're a little hard to avoid.
I was... not really. I was contemplating submitting this, doing the final boss blindfolded as a donation incentive. I had no experience with it. I tried it, got pretty close. I think it's doable. All you need to do is just jump. When he... oh wait, no, he's going into laser. It really is the Nega Wisp armor. This game was based off, or used colors as a base, so it makes sense that they'd recycle stuff, but it's kind of funny. Also, you can either have 2 phases with this boss, or just 1. If you lock onto him 6 times with your homing attack, you get the 1 cycle. There we go. Sometimes your homing attack won't actually lock on to all 3 parts of it, which, you gotta take an extra cycle if that happens. Time happens when I advance past the result screen. I'll call it out. It's coming up in just a second, and time. There we go. That's Sonic Lost World.
Were you running a local timer?
I was not.
Okay, time on our end was a 1:23:53.
Yeah, it's not bad. I have the credits paused here because they're extremely loud, and I don't want to rip headphone users at 3 a.m. Well, thank you SS4C for having me. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you got a new appreciation for Sonic Lost World. If you want to check it out, we do have a speedrunning Discord. You can find it on the SRC page for Sonic Lost World. If you like my streams or my commentary style, you can find me streaming on twitch.tv/GordinRamsay. Gordon spelled with an I, Gordin. And that's about it. Be sure to donate to the marathon.